Does it? It's not dancing. There's something here. Sorry. Does it? Not dancing. There's something here.
There was a book in the three-wing binder office that has all the contracts in it. Kathy Frank. She set it up, but she was in office, but she left office in 2019. And it hasn't been updated since. And there were some things that. haven't been.
About a dozen people.
The
come in
Pipitone one.
before you said, have
I
these
think they
plans with
started
the
working for the
button
town in about
in case kind of emergency.
2018 or
We're saying
19.
like someone barges in.
That's just,
They can hit that button, it's a panic.
it took them about 2 years to figure out the system.
What are we approving? I mean,
They're keeping them on.
Apparently,
I better let you go.
I have
price is
seen
only
the
going up
policy. We
little
approve
bit
the
every
use
year.
of it. And to buy
Right, I think
them,
they're-
you know, get
buy-
into a contract with this company that's
And avoid
providing
the,
them, you know.
The breaking
uh,
period.
So we, yeah, people who work in the town hall, because that's people who
Okay, so I
worry.
was on the, go back to the notes.
Right, right. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jim, put it on.
It's a whole bunch of people who work here. And, oh yeah, and the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
never heard of
it's-
it till just now.
It's, it may have come up the last, last year, the end of last year, where we approved, yeah, let's do it. People felt safer. Right, active shooter kind of thing, or just.
7 o'clock.
Threatened.
Good evening. Welcome to the March 13th meeting of the Rushtown Board. Will you please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dan, would you call the roll?
Councilwoman Morelli,
Here,
Councilman Chase,
Here.
Councilman Brown,
Here.
Councilman Kies,
Here.
Supervisor Williver.
Here. I have one announcement. Congratulations to the town court. They received a JAP grant for $5,210.04. We'll move on to the public comment section of the meeting. Anyone have a comment? Carol?
Done.
I'm Carol Barnett. I'm a rep resident and
You have to turn that thing really close to your. There you go.
I'm Carol Barnett. I live in Rush. I wanted to speak to the town board about what I heard about there being a proposal for a dollar store in the hamlet. I made this comment at the last meeting, but that part of Zoom was not working, so I'm doing it again this time. My question is, why haven't town residents been informed that this is a possibility for our town? Why hasn't anything been said at a town board meeting or in the newsletter or on the town website? A dollar store in the hamlet at the very least would impact traffic in the hamlet. My own experience is that even on an ordinary day, not during rush hour, it's hard to get in and out of the town hall parking lot. I'm sure that would get worse. More importantly, a dollar store in the hamlet would change the character of the hamlet and of the town drastically. Why aren't residents being told about these things when they're just possible or in the planning stages? I don't want to hear about something like this when it's a done deal. I did hear about it, but I didn't hear everything I want to know. What stage is the proposal at? What boards need to approve the proposal? What is it contingent upon? And when and how do residents have an opportunity to weigh in on this proposal? And I just ask you to ask yourselves, if you told a Rush resident that there might be a dollar store in the hamlet, would they think that was a big change? If the answer is yes, then you should be telling them. You can and should tell them regardless of whether or not it's required for you to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mary Ann?
Hi, Marianne Rizzo, 25 Stoll Road. the first thing I want to talk about is something I don't know much about. I just heard about it recently, but there's this issue of the seniors going on trips. And I heard that the people who are in the senior group from out of town are not allowed to ride the bus. And I'm sure there's reasons for it. And I think that we'd like to hear what those reasons are. And so that means that the seniors are upset right now. Maybe you know that. The seniors in the senior group are very upset. And I heard that Jim Wilkins even quit his leadership. So I really don't know anything much about it, but it was brought to my concern. But I just wonder if you can talk about that. Maybe you are going to talk about that tonight. And then whatever the reasons are, see, this builds community, and a lot of people that ride the bus live in other towns, but it's not to say that they couldn't be charged a little more, whatever. Maybe it's for insurance reasons. I really don't know. Dan, I was going to come and see you just to talk about it because I'm sure there's reasons, but whatever those reasons are, can we get past that and try to make the senior group happy? Because the seniors that live out of town, some of them used to live in Rush, and this is a way to build community. And they really they can't really get together and go on trips together anymore. So I'm sure there's reasons. So I'd like to know what those are and how can we fix it? So not to say that you guys tell me now. So the other thing is the process of passing a resolution used to be that, and I thought this was the process, that there was new business and that it would become old business. So it would leave till the next meeting or another meeting before it was voted on. This would give the residents an opportunity to weigh in, either by letter, email, or, talking to you at the board meeting. So the last one of the issues that just got passed was the porta potty, and it was one and done. So I think that if you allowed the residents to weigh in, you're going to get a better result. You're going to hear some different parameters, and you're going to get it, even if they wanted it or didn't want it, but there'd be a better conversation and you'll get a better solution. So I just recommend that you don't have a one and done. And the last thing is, you used to have letters that were written to the board and used to read them in the very beginning. And I hope that you'll come back to that, so that you don't have to read the whole thing because for brevity, but if you could just let us know what the residents are thinking and put that back on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, move on to approval of the minutes. Minutes from February 28th. Anyone want to read the proposal? Resolution?
I so move to approve town board meeting minutes of February 28th, 2024, as submitted by town clerk Busey. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilwoman Morelli,
Aye.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Kies,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye. We already do February 14th?
I don't know that you did. I don't think you did.
no.
We didn't vote on it last
No.
time because nobody had a chance to read it yet.
If everyone read it over. February 14th.
Well, I would abstain because I wasn't here for that
Okay.
one, so.
I had a chance to look at it. I can read it. I'll just insert the new date. I so move to approve town board minutes of February 14th, 2024, as submitted by town clerk Busey. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman Morelli,
Abstain.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Kies,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye. Approval of the abstract.
I so move, having reviewed all vouchers on abstract 3-1 dated March 11th. Should be March 13th, correct?
yes.
March 13th of 2024. Authorized payment totaling $72,755.04, which includes Fund AA General for $49,381.02. Fund DA Highway for $19,675.54. and fund LL Library for $3,698.48. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman Morelli,
Aye.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Kies,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye. Board of Officers. Councilperson Brown, you want to go first?
Nothing to report.
Councilperson Chase.
The only thing I have to report is I attended the March workshop meeting on Monday, March 11th.
You.
Yeah, you were there.
Councilperson Morelli.
So yeah, I have a few things to talk about. One, the easy one, yes, I was also participated in the workshop meeting on March 11th. But I do have very exciting announcement in that, as you may, if you watch the news, Congress, in a bipartisan votes, both the House and the Senate approved an appropriations bill. Very nice. And the president signed it over the weekend. In that was an appropriation for the town of Rush, New York, for $500,000 to go towards our proposed new water district.
Good.
Awesome, awesome. Cheers, everybody. This is,
Wow. Very good.
we got, recognized at a national level. And I got letters, emails from both our US Senator Schumer's office and him, Congressman Joe Morelli's office, because they all supported it in the appropriations. And they notified me right away as soon as it was signed. So we'll be getting information in the coming weeks as to what we do with that. But it is a big deal. It is significant. It is a fairly large chunk of money that will certainly help if we, as we move forward in this proposed water district. If the voters who are going to be in that proposed district voted in, it's going to be up to the people, not us. We're going to do our best to do everything that we can get it in good shape, and then people will vote as to whether they want to pay for it, because it gets, taxed or assigned to the people who are in those districts. But basically, the total proposed cost right now from our engineers is about $5.6 million to do, 35,000 linear feet and serve about 164 connections in the proposed district. So what does that mean with a $500,000 grant? It reduces the cost to each one of those by $3,000. This will be, if we do it and we go for funding, it gets paid out. We'll continue to look for grants. I like the word grants because then nobody has to pay that back. But otherwise we'll go for low interest loans that is paid out over 38 years. That's how those things work. And right now, doing the math, that's about factoring in this $500,000, about $800 a year per household that signs up to tap in, or not to tap in, but that would be in the district. These are just rough numbers that I calculated based on the study from our engineer. So, there may be other costs and other things that I'm not aware of. This is my first foray down this kind of road. But I think it's a big deal. I'm very excited. We've been hoping, we've been following up, we've been pressing our elected officials to hey, Rush is here, we're here. It's about time you sent some federal dollars our way. So I'm very excited to tell everybody that. The other thing that I've been involved with, and maybe not so much support by maybe not everybody, but I was very concerned as, you know, being on the town board, we have a fiscal responsibility to the town's residents and I was concerned because I was getting reports and it looked like our legal and engineering fees were way out of whack and I didn't understand it. Because we do have a provision that people who are applying to the planning and zoning boards, they incur a fee. Or if the town incurs a fee and has to pay an engineer to look at something because it's unusual or what, that gets charged back to the resident. In addition to that, the big solar projects, and we have, and I'm not talking about Horseshoe Solar at this point. There are two others that this town board approved. The Werner Farm and Helios, that was on one of Bruce Hallett's properties. And the town board approved those. And there was a lot, because these are big deals and they're very complicated and require a lot of oversight and engineering and legal oversight. So built into our solar law is the requirement, and these companies signed off on it, is to create an escrow to help cover these fees. And it's like at $20,000 a clip to fill up that pot, you know, and then we draw out of it. So I don't know if we got lost in the process somewhere, but I wasn't sure, like, how is that getting applied to our total numbers? My background is accounting, but I'm a tax accountant primarily, but I do financial statements for corporations, for-profit entities. So this is municipal, so it's a little bit different, but I know pluses and minuses and you know, fairly well. Anyway, so it's like, why is that? So where is the money come if we are billing it, collecting it, and how are we maintaining it? And I couldn't really get really good answers or to see it where it's showing on the financials. I couldn't see it. I like to see things because I also did auditing at one point in my career. So I had you show me, okay? At any rate, we did hire an auditor to tell us what are we doing in these areas. And just briefly, and this is, you know, preliminary, and what I would really want to do, Dan, is to meet in person with the auditor and bring in Janice so that, like, if we need to create different processes and procedures so that we know that we're capturing it and reflecting it in the financials, because I still can't tell you where it is if we're collecting money. But basically, and I know we've changed things, and as a result of our inquiries, the town did go back and bill some clients who hadn't in fact been billed, and I hope that we're still doing that, but did go back and do that, which is great. But this was for a period of January 1, 2022, which is when I came on board, through September 30th, 2023. We had to have some kind of cutoff. Take a look at that time frame. And just in general, and you have this too, Dan. You were copying on it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I copy you on everything. So one of the findings, there were related to the escrow accounts for Helios. Over $19,000 was not reflected in the escrows. So again, I don't think we asked them for the money. I don't know. These are the findings. For the Werner, just under 6,000. So that's, you know, 25 grand that I don't know whether we got it back or not. And it's reflected in our escrows, but they may owe us some money. But in the other bucket where we bill people wanting to build or do projects in the town, whether it's a resident or a commercial business or wherever, over $67,000 was not billed back to the applicants. during this time frame. It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
We have made up,
Applications.
I'm sorry?
That's a lot of applications.
Well, do you know, we've done a lot. People say we don't do a lot in this town, but you just take a look at our building inspector reports.
Mhm.
We issue a ton of permits. And we built in just this 2 years, I don't know how many single family homes in the town of Rush. People are moving here, contrary to what some people think. But people, and when I look around, there are a lot of young people. But that's another conversation. The point is, this money was not being billed or collected by the town. We're doing better now, I believe. But I still don't know what our process is for doing that or accounting for it or how it's reflected. I mean, I got, like you all received the financial reports, but I can't tell you where it's in here. I can't tell you.
Mhm.
I can't see it. Maybe you could show me where the money is. Show me the money. You know that movie? Anyway, I just wanted everybody to know because I have gotten questions from residents. Hey, I thought you were doing an audit. What was did you hear anything? Because it's been going on and it took a while to get a lot of stuff off to the auditors for, for them to take a good look at things. But we need to create processes and procedures so that we know and that it's transparent to us on the board and to the residents because, well, guys, we have a fiscal responsibility, a statutory responsibility to watch the town's finances. And how do we know if we don't know what we're spending? We just don't know. And that's not good. We need to know. So I've been spending my time on things like that. So sorry to take up a lot of time, but I thought it was important to mention these two big things that came across my desk this week. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Luther? you have a
Oh.
report?
I have nothing like that. I was at the same workshop that the rest of us were at Monday. I would like to just make a comment on the Jeannie's comments there that the previous board was the previous board and a lot of things were set up, protocols and so forth. I think this board here has a continuity that seems to work relatively good. And by you doing due diligence, digging into that, and I heard there was an audit too, but I didn't know until you told me more right now in the last 5 minutes than I knew. I think,
Okay,
we
for
can fix
official
things.
report.
Yeah, this was a draft,
Okay.
but I want to have a meeting to like,
Yeah.
let's dig into it
So
and,
do I.
and do something about it.
Yeah.
So,
But I think it's good that
Yeah.
it's coming to the surface and we can only fix it when we find out, right?
correct.
So,
And we move forward
Right.
and get in better processes,
so good news on the grant and at least this is going good. So that's all I got to say.
I attended the workshop also. I attended the fireman's banquet. That was very good. Everybody should appreciate everything the firemen do. It's crazy. The library problems. I thought I was down here quick every time they were here before me. It's amazing what they do and we have to really appreciate that we have them. And the dedication, it's amazing. And I also had a meeting today with the police department and with fire officials concerning the solar eclipse, April 8th. And they're not sure what to expect, but they're gonna have everybody possible out to take care of any problems that might arise. So that's moving forward and they put a lot of thought into it, a lot of man hours, and hopefully there won't be a problem. They're ready. Pam, you got a report?
My report is that we seem to be doing very well with our IT this evening. And I believe,
Thank you.
I don't think that anything on Monday night was done wrong. I think that we might have some issues with our modem connection, our Wi-Fi connection. because we do have some new equipment that has been replaced. So whether or not they are communicating this evening or after, before this meeting started, I came in and tried it 3 times. It worked twice, and the first time it didn't work. And the second 2 times I walked away, it came back, and I was surprised it came on. So there's got to be some kind of connection that is not working right. So I will talk to our IT person and also talk to our options, because as supervisor has said, we have paid a lot of money to have the microphones and have things visual. If those things don't work, I believe we can still have our meetings go on. But in the interim, because we don't have in-house people working on that, it's gonna just be a project to link things together if it doesn't work. But we're doing a lot of work trying to make sure it does. And we do check it every single time before the meeting. So it works and then it doesn't work. So there's a lot of pieces to it. The other thing that, training is going very well with the, new building clerk and my deputy. And, unfortunately, I did receive a resignation from, a member and a chair of our planning board. So tonight there is another resolution to, put an ad out for that position. We do have 3 people from the community that have put in previous interest in that board, so I will forward that information to the board as well. That's it.
Thank you. Kevin? Anything to report? All right. We have on the agenda under new business, talking about bees, locating bees over at White Springs Farm, and we have Taylor Hines here. He has a little presentation. Pardon?
That's what you
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, first I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Taylor Hine and my family is located at 1467 Middle Road. It's technically Henrietta, but it's right on the border of the 2, so Rush Henrietta is where we go with it. I have been a honeybee keeper for 4 years now, and I specialize in hive relocation and rescue. This year, I've started exploring my options to expand the business into more educational opportunities. And with that, I came to finding that the White Springs Farm at East River Road would be a good location. So if you look through the information I've gave you, I'm not going to read this painful long letter. That's something to kind of go over privately that kind of, summarizes what I've been doing. However, a little bit about my character and why I started the business is a pandemic project. When the pandemic started, I wanted to find a way to invest the money that was given to the working class as a way to give back to my family and the community. And with that, I started Hine Hives, and shortly after started working with Douglas Streeter, who's been in construction for 30 years, as well as beekeeping for 10, to start working together for hive relocation. With hive relocation, the status of the apiary is always changing. So sometimes the apiary's goal is honey production. Other times the goal is to assess the quality of the hive, the health of the hive, and what we need to do to get that up to a speed where it can survive winter and continue to produce a strong colony. Right now, I'm partnering with an organization called Veterans for Beekeeping, Beekeeping for Veterans. And it is sorry, I don't really speak in front of people that often.
Either.
So it's a nonprofit organization that was developed by somebody who was not actually a veteran, but wanted to give back to veterans because of the people in his life who had served. And what they do now is they run an online course in partnership with Beekeeping Made Easy to give veterans information directly at their forefront on how to become a beekeeper, how to work with bees to reduce the effects of PTSD, depression, and anxiety that can come from serving in the military, as well as using mindfulness and a conscious effort to work with the bees in a way that they can carry that outside of only beekeeping. The program itself is run by people like me who are a beekeeper who want to find a way to help their community. So what we do is we establish a satellite apiary, which is at least 2 beehives, because you need 2 to be able to compare the growth of each. And we partner with veterans through the VA to see who would be suitable for this program and run through field days that are in person, working in the beehives, teaching everything from establishing your hive, setting the bees in the hive for the first time, all the way through splitting the hive to reduce colony losses, and through honey harvest and honey production. Okay, so now to the complicated part. What I need is a little bit of land to expand this. My current apiary is at my family's home on Middle Road. It's a 1/4 acre of land. It works great for us, for my family to beekeep, but it doesn't work the best for me to bring strangers in or to teach educational classes. And that is where I thought that White Springs Farm was a good potential location for this. I've been going to this property for many years as my brother Michael Hine graduated from the school grounds before it closed, as well as watching it from the time when it closed to when White Springs or when A Horse's Friend started operating out of the facility. I also am asking for access to the grounds because beehive removal happens when the sun comes up and when the sun goes down. You have to be able to move the bees at a time that's best for them when they've settled down from foraging and going to flowers to collect pollen. And then at the end, when they're all settled in, when they're docile and you're able to close the hive and relocate it to the place that you'll keep it in. I also need support from the community because I am doing this privately with the apiary that I've already established with the funds that I used from the pandemic. And there are some areas that you do need to support privately. So I already have the bees, I already have the equipment. What I don't have is beekeeping suits for veterans, but Beekeeping for Veterans does help crowdsource for that. And I'm looking for the opportunity to speak with people about potentially applying for grants to help with any issues that could come up with my current equipment while it's being used for this program. I find that this program will benefit the community and the land because you'll see the way that the park will change when it has more pollinators. There will be a variance in natural grasses that are coming through. There will be more flowers that are blooming. You'll see new wildlife, more birds, more butterflies, more bats. Honeybees do help a balance of an ecosystem. There would also be the access of beekeeper-led field days for anybody in the town who wants to really kind of see what that is about. And support by myself and my family with helping to volunteer on the property from time to time in order to keep it up to date for the people who visit it. There are some things that are a little bit confusing for me because I have a very separate divide between my honeybee relocation business and my honey production business. Being a relocation-based business, honey production is not the main focus of what I'm doing. So I don't have the answers for I don't have the answer just yet for what my honey production is because with beekeeping for 4 years, I've only harvested honey twice. You have to let the bees establish themselves. I also have an expectation that if this is something that I can have support with, that it would start as something that is small, where maybe I'm helping 2 or 3 veterans with this working in 2 beehives. And then after we see how it works, it could grow to something more where I'm able to help 5 veterans. I also have some supplies with me that I wanted to kind of pass around if we have time for that, just to show you what the makings of a beehive are. And I wanted to also invite you all to ask any questions that you have.
And we got questions?
So I do have a question. Or maybe a couple. So your business. You do beekeeping, but you also relocate bees from where they shouldn't be,
Correct.
somebody's house, for example. But you are a for-profit business.
My honeybee removal and relocation profit business.
Yes,
I cut out of structures, homes, trees when they fall down and an arborist needs somebody to come and help. That is a for-profit business. My partnership with Veterans for Beekeeping is where there's a nonprofit business, and that would be separate from my personal apiary and the bees that I keep for that.
but you're not the not-for-profit, they are.
I'm
You're
not
saying-
the non-for-profit, they are.
Okay. I think that makes a difference to me. And what the, primary activities would be. So I do have, some concerns about that.
Okay,
And how we use that farm area up there, that the land that the town has and what we're permitted to do there. So I love what you do. My husband's a Vietnam vet, so I support the vets. And I really have to think hard about whether this is something legally that we can do. And I don't know. I don't know. I really have to think about that personally, whether we could legally do it, what your insurance is. Having programs on town-owned property and what is our legal liability. I think there's a lot of questions that we would need to investigate. I don't know what insurance you have.
okay, that makes sense. I do
Okay.
have insurance. I unfortunately ran out of printer ink. I was printing everything at my home on my personal printer. But I do have a business policy through State Farm, and I do have a list of my accumulated cost for beekeeping, what the cost of honey harvest is, and how those relate to the associated costs with keeping bees for this not-profit and doing this program. So that is definitely something I could email to you and email to forward to the
Mhm.
board. As well as I have an open end for how I would like this to go. I just know that I would like to see the school to continue to be used as something that is education based and to be helpful for the community.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you as well.
Yeah.
This is before it's fully filtered and this is when it's in its prime. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin, any thoughts on?
I want to just double check the use. I think it may fall into one of the permitted categories. I think we can possibly work with that. I want to understand a little bit more about the organization, the nonprofit aspects of it. So we can work through that, but I think there's a path forward. We just have to take a look at it.
Okay, so we'll look into that a little bit further.
I agree with you. I'm not against it. I
Gotta make sure that,
we're all about pollinators and don't mow your grass in May and make sure the pollinators do the right thing. So I'm not saying no, I just wish there's a lot of questions that would need to be answered first.
And you said primarily at that location, that's going to be with this not-for-profit with the veterans, right?
Yes, I would only want to use that location for my program with working with veterans.
Okay.
And I'm looking into the opportunity of doing the field day on the White Springs Farm property, but then doing classes outside at, say, the library or community center. I would still keep my personal apiary, which is where all of my primary honeybee removals would be moved to. But again, it's just not someplace that I would be comfortable bringing people to teach about honeybee health and mindfulness, even though I do think it's a great program as well.
Essentially, all your production would be at a different location.
Yes,
Your primary production would be at a different location.
my primary production would be at my home.
Yeah.
But a byproduct of good beekeeping and hive management is honey.
Yeah.
So I don't think that that is something that we can avoid.
Right.
I do have, I did have an idea of using the honey that was produced at the school to sell and then to donate back in honor of my brother my brother did pass away. I forgot to add that part, but my brother who graduated from the school has since passed away and he really loved the facility. And I would really just love to see it to keep flourishing. So I could arrange that the hives that are there are to benefit the property and to help with maintenance or how the town sees fit.
How much space does a couple of beehives, that much?
A couple of beehives don't take much space. I would say comfortably the table that you guys are sitting at is enough room for 4 beehives.
Yep.
But you really only need 2 to run a class and teach a lesson to people because you need to have something to compare each other to. Our half an acre lot currently has 5 beehives. It has a chicken coop, which currently isn't used because there's a lot of wildlife around us. And we also have a pool, a trampoline where the kids play, and neighbors on either side.
So would you be looking for like another half-acre space? Or what size were you thinking about?
By way of the space needed is actually minimal. The main thing that I need is access to drive up to the space. So there are access roads that lead to areas that are not currently being used by a horses run rescue. And the beehives themselves, I mean, a 10-foot square is more than enough to keep them. You just don't want to keep them in the middle of the horse pasture. So an area that's not being actively used, that's not actively hosting riding lessons would be ideal.
And how would you pay the town?
How would I pay the town? Well, to be frank with you, that part, I thought that my being there was a benefit for the town because it would be running a program that townspeople would mostly use. I'm not a commercial pollinator, so
But you are.
the services, no, I'm not.
Well, right now you don't have a not-for-profit established.
I don't
This
have a
other
not-for-profit.
organization is working with you, but they're not here tonight saying that they are going to enter into an agreement with the town. It's you.
That is correct, but commercial pollination is defined as the travel of hives between state lines. I'm a hobby beekeeper and I'm in the backyard.
Well, I think of it as that you're selling a product.
Oh, well, thank you for explaining that. I do appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't, this is something that's brand new to me. I don't know how to draw that line between my connection and beekeeping for veterans to establish that there's not a profit being made off of this. I do know that the gentleman that I've been speaking with was more than willing to declare his partnership and give a presentation with you guys tonight via Zoom. However, I just didn't really have the time to organize that. I do think in a future meeting, or if you were able to get questions together for me, I could find a better way to navigate how what I want to do would align with what is allowed and what you guys need.
Okay, fair enough. And again, we'd have to talk with our attorney to see what, just because, town has, we have to worry about what happens on town property and who we're doing business with, and there's certain restrictions for that part, that parcel up there as to what we can do, and, commercial activities is not one of them.
So I guess, could I have some clarification? Is educational classes something that you would like to have there, or is that something that you would not like to have there?
It could be one of the permitted activities on up there,
Okay,
with something with an educational bent. But
but you can't have people who are not operating as a not-for-profit doing something like that on the
no, I
land?
didn't say that. Again, I would want to talk to our attorney
Oh.
to know what we can and can't do. But, to me, when I look at it, I know that it could be an issue for the town and what we're permitted to do on that parcel. You know, with a for-profit business, that to me wouldn't fly.
It may be easier to work right through the not-for-profit directly. As far as setting up the arrangement for the space with the access and for the programs, we just may need to think about if that's a possibility.
Right.
Okay,
So you're certainly advocating on their behalf, but we may need them to be more involved in the actual, if it's gonna be a lease or some sort of occupancy agreement, we may need them to be directly involved in that to make sure it fits a little bit cleaner into, the legal partnership.
thank you for explaining that. That helps me to understand better.
But we can certainly work, if as the board has questions, we can formulate them and then we can kind of work through it and figure out how to make that work.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'd obviously have to think about how it fits in with the uses that are happening on that property too. But I do appreciate what you're doing. Just so you know, it's
Thank
not
you.
personal, it's,
No, I don't think it's
Okay.
personal. There's just a lot that goes into these arrangements, and I wish it was more simple. I wish it was just a snap your fingers thing, but unfortunately, everything good does take time, so
Yep.
I understand.
thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Approval of the safety lanyard policy. We've had West Fire System in and go over the car alarm system. Everything's up to snuff and running well. And the lanyards have been distributed. And we need to approve the policy.
Do we have a policy? Did you hand it out?
We had it was
Did I
floated
get it?
around.
I thought it did go out
Yeah, it floated around.
a little while ago.
Wow. I thought we had held off on it because we just hadn't been ready to distribute the
I
land.
know you're talking about, I can't remember reading it. I know it was discussed and
Yeah,
I'm glad we have them, but
We approved the use of them.
right.
right,
I would say.
but we didn't approve how they're being used or didn't we?
No,
do
you
that? We
did,
didn't?
you did talk about that. I think what you didn't agree on yet was the wording of the policy. So if you didn't get the updated on who is responsible for
Who was gonna be in charge of?
providing them, handing them back, that type of thing. So that was updated. If you didn't get it, then maybe you'll have to refer to the next, but they were provided to the different departments. And I understand from Firematics that we will be getting 3 additional ones because we only had 8
Okay,
and we were supposed to have 11.
and the system only would support them.
That's what I heard.
Okay. All right, so we'll do that the next meeting. Continuation of A Horse's Friend. Everyone knows we've had problem with the lease. It was challenged, town lost the challenge. The finding was. How do you call it, Kevin, when it's listed, posted?
Yeah, there's a quarter was published.
It was, the court published it February 14th. So we would have to have a vote in May, mid-May, and having a private standalone votes would cost the town between $4,000 and $7,000. So at this point, I think we're gonna rescind the Horses Lease Friend. Maybe reinstate it in the August timeframe, and then we could vote on it. We will call, the town itself will call for a vote on it in the general election in November.
So effectively, the proposed amendment would be, the authorization for the proposed amendment would be rescinded at this point in time. If it's reintroduced at a later date, it would be able to be put onto the annual election, and the board has the ability, because it's subject to a permissive referendum, the board has the authority to say that because the public wanted to vote on this, we're making it mandatory. So it wouldn't be subject to a permissive referendum anymore because you guys would make it subject, it would be mandatory at that point in time. You could designate it for the annual election.
I think it's the right move to make at this point.
It'll save us money and people can vote on it.
Okay,
You got this?
I so move, whereas on August 5th, 2022, the town of Rush entered into. Is that the right date? I think it should be 23, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
22.
Sorry.
22 is,
Yeah.
The original lease, correct?
no,
And the
no,
amend-
no. The amended lease. The amended lease is what you guys are voting on tonight.
But I think that the setup was, we were talking about the original lease, it was proposed to be amended in 2023, that's what is subject to. the-
Yep, okay.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yep, I'll read.
Sorry.
Because again, we're only affecting the amended, it's the underlying lease agreement.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Nope. I'll start over. I so move, whereas on August 5th, 2022, the town of Rush entered into a lease with a Horse's Friend Incorporated for a portion of real property located at 65 East River Road, which includes certain structures and pasture fields, the premises. And whereas on November 8th, 2023, the town board adopted a resolution authorizing a proposed amended lease agreement, the amended lease, pursuant to which, among other things, clarified that the premises recognized non-exclusive common areas shared with the New York Museum of Transportation, acknowledged the relocation of a fence and extended the lease term through 2035. Which resolution was subject to a permissive referendum pursuant to the town law, section 64 and article 7. And whereas petition for a referendum on the authorization of an amended lease was filed with the town clerk on November 29th, 2023. The town challenged the validity of the signatures on the petition in New York State Supreme Court. The challenge was not successful. And whereas the Rush Town Board has considered the circumstances surrounding the petition, including the concerns and opinions raised by residents of the town, as well as the time, costs, and resources that are required to facilitate a special local referendum outside of the normal election cycle. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby rescinds the resolution authorizing the execution of the amended lease passed on November 8th, 2023. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
You can stop right there, that last sentence was a carry, it was a.
Yep, gotcha. Do I have a second?
A second.
Councilwoman Morale,
Aye.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Kies,
All right,
Supervisor Williver,
Aye. Moving on to new business. Your proposed resolution to accept a quote from Pipitone Heating and Cooling for 24-25 for preventative maintenance on our equipment at the town hall.
I looked it over. It seemed pretty reasonable for the amount of work that they were
It's
proposed to do.
been going up that much in the past 5 years.
I know we've renewed it before. Was it a
Yeah.
similar cost? I didn't go back
It-
and look. Similar,
I didn't figure out the percentage, but each year it's gone up a
a
little.
little. Okay.
And honestly, to replace them would be difficult.
Right.
It took them quite a while to figure out how our system works, so. Price seemed quite reasonable. You want me to go? Right.
I got it.
I got it.
You got it? Yeah, go for it.
I so move to approve the quote from Pipitone Enterprise LLC, 25 East Buffalo Street, Churchville, New York, 14428 to enter into a preventative maintenance service agreement for 2024 through 2025 for an annual cost of $4,728. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morale,
Aye.
Councilman Kais,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye. Next, we have a resolution to hire a sprinkler system inspector. I've got two different quotes. Allied is the company that worked on it after the pipe came apart in the ceiling in the library. And I also got a quote from Davis Ulmer. The quote from Davis Ulmer seems to be more in depth. They do more inspections. Came out and the yearly portion of the inspection is about 9 hours worth of work, and then different parts of it are done quarterly. Different parts are done annually, and their cost is more, but I think they do more work.
Was it more, I thought that I thought Allied was multiple payments at. I thought 760. I thought it was per trip, but I could have read that completely wrong.
I don't remember, I don't have my glasses.
That's semi-annual, 760. I think
Yeah.
that's what it says.
Right. That's how I read it. So that's twice, right?
That's
Yeah, twice a year. I mean, you
Seven-
pay that 760 each time they
Right.
came, yeah.
So
Okay.
it's double that actually. So
For
they're
the year.
actually a little bit more than.
Yeah.
Than Davis is how I read it.
And I would vote for Davis Ulmer.
I.
Agreed.
Okay, I so move to approve an inspection agreement with Davis Ulmer Sprinkler Company Incorporated, 300 Metro Park, Rochester, New York, 14623, to perform quarterly inspections of the wet and dry pipe system services, including a 3-year full trip testing for the dry system and for an annual cost of $1,140. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman Morelli,
Aye.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Kais.
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye. Next, we have a resolution to enter into agreement with Addis Elevator Inspectors. We have a service contract with Bison to service the elevator, but it hasn't, they can't inspect. And it hasn't been inspected in a while. I don't know what the difference is between, but it's supposed to be inspected. And Fire Marshal got us, the only company he could find was Addis. So
There is. I mean, there's others.
Hmm?
There is a few others. If you're all right with this, getting it done.
250.
Yeah.
Okay.
I so move to approve the agreement with Addis Elevator Inspections LLC, 512 North Main Street, Syracuse, New York, 13212-3228 for New York State required semi-annual periodic QEI inspections at the cost of $250 per inspection per conveyance. New York State required witnessing annual tests, $250 per hour, including travel and mileage expenses. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilwoman Morelli,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilman Kais,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye. Beekeeper, we're gonna deal with later.
Mhm.
The highway department's gonna be needing a new pickup. We have money in the budget set aside for it. What I understand is which is back up, actually getting delivery on the truck. And they recommended that we put in a purchase offer for it for this year. Get it next year maybe.
Oh, we're not even getting it right away, you're saying?
Not right away.
It takes a long time to get trucks right now.
Yeah, I spoke to DJ. He said that he was going to be seeing about having this on the agenda, and I asked him when he thought he might get the truck, and he said it could be a little quicker. It could be like 30, he said 36 weeks, so.
Yeah,
They-
That's kind of what I.
You know, but he said it could be, he goes, they could get a big shipment in quickly, and he goes, it could be faster than that, so could be this year. Maybe not, but he said it just depends on how the shipments come into the trucks, so.
But we would be guaranteed this price then, even if it was,
Yeah, I think if that should be locked in for that truck, yeah.
If we'd have to issue the purchase order, I believe, for the amount that's quoted
Yeah.
right now. Before they have a price increase,
right,
because if we wait,
right.
And
it'd be
that's
another
on,
5 to 6%.
that's on the state bid, right?
Mhm.
Okay, good.
And I think he said that it was actually less than, yeah, it says right there, it was just under a couple $1,000s less than what was budgeted for. That's what. Okay.
Motion.
I so move to authorize the highway superintendent's purchase of a new 2024 three-quarter ton pickup truck through Onondaga Piggyback bid number 00100808 from Van Bortle Ford, 71 Marsh Road, East Rochester, New York, 14445, with 2024 budgeted highway capital equipment account funds DA-5130.2 for an amount of $53,395.67. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Morelli,
Aye,
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilman Kies,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye. Spring is coming and we're gonna need to hire a gardener, landscaper to help. I have volunteers that are volunteering, but I have some areas that are not covered. And I think we're gonna need some professional help to get everything done. So I'd like to place an ad for a new gardener, landscaper to at least help out with the gardens.
Are we going to cap their hours
Or, well, yeah.
or set an hour limit, set an hour
Yeah.
dollar limit too?
In the past, how much?
well, whatever's in the budget for, the beautification committee was, or beautification volunteers was set that way. So that was used for the flowers, the mulch, all the, everything else. Previously, we used that money to hire someone to do all of it, so this will be like cutting it in half possibly. We'll have to look at how that's gonna actually shake out. Previously, the highway superintendent would put them on as a laborer and transfer monies that way. So we'll have to see what the rate would be.
Okay, and
But there is money in the budget.
Yes, there is.
in the beautification, yeah.
do we need to put a dollar amount to the,
I would recommend, we should add a dollar amount to what we want that job to be, or what the maximum you're comfortable paying for that.
right, not to
I
exceed?
think there was $6,000 for beautification. I had to look it up. But if we have between buying flowers and mulch, would that take $3,000 out of that? I mean, what would, yeah, so it would be the leftover after we purchase the supplies. Would probably go
For
towards.
labor, it's just
for-
for the
for
labor, right?
Do you know how much you've spent on flowers in the past in mulch?
Any idea?
I don't know about the mulch. I know last year for the spring plantings, it was a very small amount of flowers.
Yep.
And we just donated them.
Yep.
Cause it's a pretty small amount of
Oh,
plants that
thank
they
you,
had bought.
And
Sure.
well, mulch we get through the Boy Scouts.
I think in the past, without looking in the budget, think we did $3,500 to $4,000 for that.
If there's 6 in the budget, I was gonna say if we dedicated 2,000 for materials and 4,000 for labor.
I think you could almost do it not to exceed 4,000 or, you know, 4,000 or the budgeted amount for the landscaping. Just to kind of cover both if we're saying that whoever we hire can exceed between whoever we hire and the cost of materials can exceed the $6,000 or whatever's in the budget, that's our not to exceed cap. Unless you want to try to cap the labor at a set figure, say 3,000, say 4,000, say 3,500. I don't know what you think we're comfortable doing. But I think as so long as between labor and materials, you're not exceeding the budget, you could proceed with hiring the labor board.
I guess, I mean, we just have to figure out how many hours he's gonna put in the course of a week.
Yeah.
Right, is this person gonna be doing the watering?
The highway department's been doing. And they,
Does DJ know that?
DJ said I asked him and he said they would do the watering again.
So previously we put in for the gardener to do all the flowers before we had volunteers was 5 to 7 hours a week. So I believe that will be less if they're just doing the edging, weeding, mulching, trimming any trees.
So you could limit by hours. That may be easier, because we don't know the variables, we don't know what materials cost them.
I'm not opposed to the idea, I just feel like we gotta. I don't wanna cut the person short either. If they're gonna do a good job, you want them to have the time to do a good job, not 5 hours, say you gotta go home this week.
How many areas are we looking at?
Pardon?
How many areas are we looking at?
I think there's 10 or 12 different spots. I mean, none of them are very.
Are we
big.
talking the welcome signs too?
Welcome signs, a little bit, town hall, there's a, by the pavilion, flagpole by the gazebo. East Rush Cemetery is one now.
I guess would it make sense to get DJ to take a look at it and give us some type of time estimate? Maybe he's done it before, probably.
I don't.
Or what we have in the budget for that. None of us knows. I mean,
I
it's,
think it's around
it's-
6,000.
I know it's not a lot, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not more than that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Do you want to put something in it and then
We can advertise. it.
pending review of the budget, or you could always increase it or
So we can just authorize the advertisement of the
Yeah,
position
advertise for a gardener and then
pending the,
we would know before we hired anybody.
Right, well, if this is just for the advertisement.
Just to place an
So
ad.
we can advertise for the position.
Yeah.
We wouldn't hire for that position. When we were looking to adopt a resolution to hire for the position, we can put the parameters on the not to exceed figure for
Okay.
the dollar amount. We just need to, I think we're gonna need to know what that is gonna be when folks start coming in, so
Yeah,
they know what to
what-
expect.
yeah.
But if this resolution is just to put the advertisement, so
Yeah.
we can certainly advertise for the position. When folks come in, we'll be able to give them more information on
Yeah.
what the parameters are. And then
Yeah.
there'll be a subsequent resolution that will say that we're hiring somebody at whatever the rate is, for an amount not to exceed the blank.
Yeah.
We can do it at that time.
Pam, is there a way to look up what? To go back and look at what it was prior to the volunteers doing it, so you have
Yeah.
some numbers to work off of?
but that was one person doing all of it, correct?
right?
Which that's what we're looking at now, except for you said maybe a few volunteers might do 1 or 2 beds.
There's quite a few.
Is there? Okay,
I got a list and
okay.
I sent everybody an email and most people are gonna go on.
So we could get the numbers of what it was and kind of adjust from there depending on.
Yep.
How many beds we're gonna
There-
do.
I think there's 5 spots that I've got out of 12.
Okay.
That are not covered by volunteers.
Yeah. One's in front of my house. Maybe I'll take care of it.
So you're one of the volunteers
I think we gotta.
And do his lawn too.
and the watering.
Yeah, so what we didn't have before is someone to do the edging, the weeding, the mulching, landscaping, trimming stuff, because it was like a afterthought. And none of the volunteers, that wasn't in their purview to do that. They were planting.
I got you. So they were just sticking the flowers in the ground, but
Yeah,
Everything else
highway
is
was
good.
watering them, but that was, the maintenance of it was not done, so that's what. The board is really looking to have a maintenance type of thing for.
Yeah, I think if we can baseline it off of what we had prior to the volunteers and kind of work backwards from there, that might be a
Yeah.
good way to look at it.
I
Sue's
agree.
got a comment.
Well,
Oh.
no question, as a volunteer.
Would you mind going to the mic? Sorry.
I need to ask a question. But as a volunteer, does that mean we are only planting and we're not weeding throughout the summer like we've done in the past?
Whatever you've done in the past, you're doing.
Oh, okay.
You're like, dang it.
who would be responsible for managing this person? DJ?
Who'd that fall under? That would
Highway?
fall under me.
She's looking at you.
We're cracking the whip. We have beautiful gardens.
It was usually with the secretary to the supervisor would do it, and I would help out because I had done it previously, so.
Good. So we're just gonna place an ad.
Yep.
And then we're gonna figure out the details before we hire someone.
They're gonna want to know the details before they.
To take the job.
Maybe they won't.
Surprise, you're a volunteer.
You're in charge of this. You're in charge of this too.
I so moved to authorize the town clerk to place an advertisement to hire a landscape / gardener in the Genesee Valley Penny Saver. Do I have a second?
A second.
Councilman Morelli,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilman Kais,
All right.
Supervisor Williver.
Hi. I'd like to add, we're gonna need to advertise for a planning board member. We could place an ad in the Sentinel.
Those are proposals.
Pardon?
Is it- Sorry to interrupt. There was a proposed resolution for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying you wanted to add it. I didn't realize. Sorry.
Oh,
Like to add a proposal to hire a planning board.
Uh,
Place an ad. Sure.
Also move to authorize the town clerk to place an advertisement to fill the vacant position on the planning board in the Genesee Valley Penny Saver.
I'll second it.
Councilman Morelli,
aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilman Kais,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver.
Aye.
Sorry, I must have been thinking about vacation and when I.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's, I was wondering why Luke got hung up with this vacation, but
Wait a minute.
Sorry about that.
I had a quick question, Pam. I know in the past. We had talked about putting it in the penny saver in a different place. Well, didn't that one time, were you using Indeed or did we start getting charged for that? What happened to you?
We can put it on Indeed, but, since it's not really a big paid, someone's looking for a job. We
Yeah.
use that for actual positions and not subboard positions. The advertisement is always on our town website,
Okay,
so,
okay, I was just curious. I know we had,
yeah, we
Use it
usually
for
do
certain stuff.
use Indeed and there is no charge now.
yeah,
But we
So
put in the
that's-
penny saver, it does get circulated
Okay.
only for Rush residences.
Yep.
So.
okay, very good. I was just curious. Thank
Yep.
you.
Mhm.
And finally, there's a big push on with the CCA coming up, community choice aggregate for electricity supply. They're gonna issue an RFP soon. And it's gonna go out for bid. They want, there's a component of public information. They're gonna do a presentation for the town board in the next town board meeting. But they'd like to have a community-wide meeting in the near future. And one of the dates that's available, because it's such short notice, is the same day as the planning board. I mean, I'm sorry, as the town board. So I'd like to have the public meeting prior to the town board meeting. So they can, anybody who's interested can come in and learn all about it. We've had two of these in the past. No one has ever showed up, but it's mandatory that we have the meeting. So I'd like to have that meeting before the next town board meeting on the 27th.
On the 27th, okay.
And I'm thinking at 6 o'clock because in the past, no one showed up. But we can
This is
give them
what
an
we
hour.
was talking about.
Yeah, for the
Okay.
Community choice
utility
aggregate.
and electric provider.
Supervisor, they're going to, provide that out to the community, right? Not something that we have to,
He's did in the past.
okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I'll double check with him tomorrow, but
And at the meeting on Monday, did you
no,
schedule?
that's on the 27th.
It's on 27th.
And before the town board meeting.
Okay, at 6 o'clock. Okay. And on the meeting that you had Monday, the workshop meeting, did you schedule another workshop? Did you vote on scheduling another workshop?
No, but we should schedule another workshop. We're gonna have questions at the next town board meeting with
Okay.
regards to the
Okay,
EMUH.
all right. I just wanted clarification.
We're
'cause
gonna,
I
we're gonna
wanted
go over
positive.
that, but then we'll have another workshop then.
Okay,
Historical data on the beautification. The beautification contractual was in the 2019 budget. It was $3,370, and that included mulch, annuals, perennials, mileage, and et cetera. And that's when you had a contract with a gardener.
Okay.
What was the amount, Phyllis?
3370.
3370.
Thank you.
Yeah. And mind you, it was 2019, so, inflation, but still.
I think that's it. Upcoming meetings, Conservation Board, March 14th. Zoning Board, March 21st, Planning Board, March 26th, and the next town board meeting is March 27th. And having no further business, make a motion to close the meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So the 27th meeting will be at 6, is that what you said? Correct.
The town board meeting's at 7, but there'll be someone here.
The information meeting will be at 6.
Yeah.